So first of all, who do we have on the phone from Victory? We have Richard Baboni, who is the newest president of Victory. We have myself, the executive vice president. We would like to welcome Dennis Ball. Dennis has been around a long, long time. I've known Dennis for many years. He is our new VP of Sales. Jim Hurston, who's our VP of Marketing, who's been at the company for numerous years. A name that you guys probably haven't seen, but has made a huge, huge change in this company, and this is George DeRosa. George is the new Vice President of Operations. He's been here within the last year, and it really has turned around quality, on-time delivery, efficiencies, and has really made a big change in this company, and we'll talk about some of the things that he's done. Jim Kehoe, who you all know, who's the Director of Engineering, and Mark Hike, who is our IT manager, and he's the one running this presentation and is able to hook us all up. So those are the people who will be on here. Those are some of the people you can ask questions to at the end of the meeting if you like. And let's go to the next slide. I'm going to introduce Richard. So Richard Baboni. Richard, I'd like you to take it over and kind of give your vision and welcome and talk to the crew.
Thanks, Mitch. And thank you all for participating in our webinar this morning. I think it's very important for all of you to have a clear idea of where we see Victory going forward. I've had the privilege of speaking to some of you in the past and meeting some of you in person, especially the Rep Council, which was very useful in helping me understand the new direction that Victory needs to be following. And I really want to emphasize that this is an all-new Victory. We have new team members, as Mitch had pointed out. One very important addition to the team started just a couple months earlier than I did back in February, George DeRosa. George has a really broad manufacturing background, with experience that covers everything from purchasing, fabrication, assembly, quality. But more than all that, George has a real sense of urgency and what's important to get the job done and to meet our customers' expectations. Myself, I think you've heard a little bit about myself. I have an undergraduate degree in engineering. I have a master's in business administration, so I bring both an interest and love for the product and for marketing to the table. And this company is going to be a product-driven company with a market focus going forward. Dennis, as you've just heard, is an experienced professional in the food service equipment industry. He's a class act. He's well known by most of you already and probably needs no further introduction. These additions to the strong team we already had working for us, with Mitch Cohen heading up the sales and Jim Hurston in the marketing area, and Jim Kehoe, who's also on the call today, who's now our Director of Engineering. Internally, there are a lot of changes. Physically, we've moved people within the building. We no longer have a second floor separating us. We have the engineering and tech support and part services all down on the first floor. Right outside my door, I have George's office and I have Jim Kehoe's office. So we are in constant contact about what's going on the manufacturing floor and what we're going to do to drive new products through the process to get them delivered in the way that you are expecting to see them, which means a complete rollout with complete documentation and completely in line with the Victory brand standards. We've had other personnel changes. Some middle managers have been substituted. Some have been assigned new responsibilities. Some key players who have stepped up to the plate are Jim Crawford in the purchasing area, and again, Jim Kehoe in the engineering area. This process has already been going on for the last 6 or 8 months, and we've seen real improvements already in this time. Improvements that you can measure. We've seen quality improvements, especially in the first 90-day period of warranty. Our warranty costs have gone down significantly. We've also seen much improved efficiency through the factory floor, which has allowed us to guarantee on-time delivery. The changes that have been made in line as we progress, even before rolling out new products, have increased the serviceability of the products in the field. We've been focusing on designing for manufacture, designing for the constraints that we have within our physical plant, and this is giving us a much greater yield. We've also changed our inventory policy and are stocking more finished goods than we have in the past so we can better meet our customers' needs. All this and the focus on cost control is allowing us to be confident in our ability to be very competitive moving forward. Another big new difference in the new Victory is our focus on new product development. As you know, it's been several years since Victory has come to the market with new products, and now we've got several in the pipeline. The first and most exciting is the new UltraSpec line, which is the focus of the meeting we have today. But afterwards, you're going to see changes in the V-Series, the warming cabinets, the griddle stands, and the undercounters, all of these coming through in 2012. So what does all this newness mean for us? It means new opportunities. New opportunities for this company to relaunch itself in the market, and new opportunities for you as our sales force to approach your clients and give them new reasons to come back to Victory. Next slide, please. So where are we going? One of the messages we heard loud and clear from the Rep Council and the other people I've met in the various buying group meetings around the country is that over the years, with the many changes in Victory, people are no longer clear on what our vision is. So here it is. Our vision is back to the future. We're going to be living up to our promise of delivering refrigeration at its best. And look how that's written there on the screen. Best is capitalized and has an exclamation point. This is new Victory. We are going to pay attention to detail, and we are going to deliver. We're offering products and services that are second to none. Already we have many features and benefits that people aren't aware of. We haven't been communicating well enough the wide variety of options we offer. But in addition to that, we're going to come out with these new products that are going to be market-leading products, leading through innovation, through design, through quality, and support. Victory is going to be the cool brand for people to own, the brand that people want to put in the kitchens that they're going to want to show off to their customers. Bottom line is we're going to be providing real value, delivering more features and benefits at a competitive price by focusing on the customer and exceeding their expectations. Next slide, please. So who do we want to be? We want to be the refrigeration solution provider. Victory will be the first choice for specification jobs with the launch of this new UltraSpec series featuring our state-of-the-art V-Temp controller and other design features. Soon after, we'll be following with the updated V-Series, which will again be the first choice for the high end of the value sector. Victory is also going to be competing for chain business. Not all chain business, not the McDonald's of the world, but the chain business that is compatible with our brand positioning. As you see, we're already in Darden. We're in Seasons 52. We're in the brands that want to show that they care about how their products are maintained and also displayed, because this UltraSpec product will stand out in any display kitchen. As I mentioned, Victory already has a wider range than most people realize, and over the next 6 to 12 months we're going to add to it. We have created an aggressive but achievable product development plan for 2012 that also includes upgrades to the items I already mentioned, the warming cabinets, the undercounters, and the griddle stands. Next slide, please. So now let's get into the heart of the meeting, into the introduction of UltraSpec series, and I'm going to pass the control of the meeting back to Mitch Cohen.
Thanks, Richard. So this has been a long, long time coming, and we've looked at every unit we can possibly look at, from the foreign competitors to the American manufacturers. And really, the design is about how do we be different? How can we do something that no one else does in a marketplace that's really become a commodity product. So the first thing is that it really has to look sleek, as Richard said, in front of the house design. So we've really put a neat angle, and a lot of you guys have those brochures already, but we will show you pictures as we move down. Not just aesthetically, but what else can you do? The other thing you do for a refrigerator is really come up with a smart controller that's simple to use. And we highlight that and underline it, something that's different from everyone else. We've all heard about the IntelliTrawl for years and years and years. We looked at that and we really one-upped it. But the trick is to make it have all the features that make it very, very simple to use. And really this controller has 6 buttons. You can do many things with it, and very, very smart and simple. So you're going to see that on our controllers from here on out. We do offer some options, and really our goal was to offer options that really had a benefit to it and that people would pay for, and we will show you some of those in the next couple of slides. We are working on Energy Star. We'll talk about that, but everything we design from here on out will meet or exceed Energy Star standards from our specification line. The other big thing that we looked at when we were redesigning this was how can we make it easy for the service companies to get in and out. Part of our focus groups, we're not just consultants and design dealers and end users and chefs, but we did spend a lot of time with the service companies basically saying, what's wrong with the design? How can we make it easier for you to service and get out? So everything, again, we designed from here, we'll look at the service part of the aspect. And really comes our new tagline, and everything we look at now is thinking inside the box, creating real value. And that's what we're going to do from here on out. So as we move forward, we put a lot of time, a lot of effort, and we need a lot of help from you guys and your input too. So let's go to the next slide. So what's taken so long? Why has it taken so long to come up with a new unit? And if you really look at our specification line, we have 300-400 different variations, from long doors to half doors to roll-ins to pass-throughs to glass doors. And how do you introduce a new look, a new controller that carries through the whole line? And it's taken a little while to do that. And actually, George DeRosa has done a great job of doing that. So we don't have pictures of the glass doors, but even the glass doors are incorporated in this beveled look. So our complete line will be available starting February 1st this year. And I repeat that, February 1st of this year, the complete specification line, the entire family. Okay, next slide, please. So there's your first look at it, and it's very deceiving, the picture, and hopefully you've looked at the brochures and you'll start seeing the units, but really a very cool looking front of the house design. It's sleek, it's modern, and unlike other people who actually rounded the corners, we've beveled the corners. And if you see the angles, very, very contemporary looking, really sharp. And the picture doesn't do it justice. We'll be getting these units out in the field. We'll be doing consultant meetings, and you can really see the aesthetics. New handles. Believe it or not, as we see, handles are a big issue, and we all know that. We spent months looking at every handle manufacturer and came up with the best ergonomically correct, a very good finger pull, and it's a strong, strong pull. You can grab that handle and pull the door. It's amazing how many people comment on handles, but we've done a great job. Something new that we talked about before, but proximity door switches. As you all know, to rehinge a door, the lights are actually located in the hinging. If you rehinge the door, you would basically lose your lighting because you couldn't rewire it. But these proximity door switches, which are shown on the arrow on the top and bottom, they're just a magnetic switch, which activates the interior light, the door ajar, alarm indicators, and energy-saving modes, and we'll talk about that. But with those proximity switches, basically you can rehinge that door, flip it, and you're ready to go without losing that light or those other features that I mentioned. So easily reversible door, which a lot of people ask. And with these proximity switches, they last over 1 million openings and closings, so the life cycle on it is tremendous. Let's go to the next slide. What else have we done? What other things can we do that are different from everyone else? The flip-up grill, you guys have seen that at NAFM. That was probably one of the #1 features that people requested that we've kept. And with that flip-up grill, we've done a couple changes to it. We've made it removable also. We've also added a prop ride. So for those who saw it earlier, the question was, well, when you flip it up, will it fall down? It didn't fall down, but for safety reasons, we did put a prop rod on there. And the unit can be easily removed if you needed to work on that. So that flip-up grill is there so we know that the customer can clean the coils simply and easily. And if we can make it as easy as possible, hopefully that will save service in the long time. Door hardware, our locks. We've had the same locks on our door for a long, long time. These are positive latching locks. So when you lock that door, it grabs it and shuts it tight. Very, very solid, much easier than the ones we've had. The other thing we've added is EC fan motors. EC fan motors have become a must for energy efficient units. People talk about EC fan motors all the time. What is an EC fan motor? Electronically commutated fan, just for those, if anyone asks you. It's basically a fan motor, a brushless DC motor is what it is. It's about 30% more efficient than the fan motors we've used in the past. It runs on multiple speeds and it actually puts out much less heat. So very, very important feature for a consultant to know or an end user to know. Let's go to the next slide, please. What else have we done? Well, as many of you know, we've used Tecumseh compressors and Copeland compressors for many years. It was kind of a 50-50 split. What we did was we looked at the last 6 years of warranty work, and we found that, first of all, Copeland lasted a lot longer, so that was a good thing. We also found that Copeland was willing to work with us on a more efficient unit, a quieter unit, and again, a longer life cycle. So everything we have from here on out will be Copeland compressors. We'll stick with that company. And the reason, again, we found that the warranty rates, #1, were a lot less over the life cycle of the unit. We've changed filter dryers. You know, what's so big about a filter dryer? Well, really, filter dryers take out the impurities in the refrigeration line. So the bigger, the better the ones you have less issues with metal flakes, with acid buildup, with water buildup within your system. It keeps a cleaner refrigeration system. So again, these are some of the things that the customer can't see, per se, but is really worth it in the long run and the life of the unit. Another thing we've done, we've staggered our tubes. And why do you stagger your tubes? Really, we're trying to add turbulence for greater efficiency. Again, to get more efficient with this, if you stagger your tubes, it adds turbulence, slows down the heat transfer, again, resulting in a more efficient unit. Next slide, please. So we want to take a couple things. What we wanted to do is we wanted to show you a couple of videos. PowerPoints are nice. This is just an example of some of the things that you're going to start seeing from us that you never saw before. And we have Mark Hike on the line who's done a great job, who does a nice job on videos. So if you want to put that up, Mark, that would be great. And Jim Kehoe is on the line with me, too. He'll kind of walk through some of this also. Right, Jim?
Yes.
Thank you.
This way.
Mitch, do you see the video now?
We do. We're good. So what we're trying to do is show you kind of what the units will look like. Again, a picture is nice, but a video shows a lot more. We're zooming in on the controller right now. So as I said, there's only 6 simple buttons to use. You see the 1-door, the 2-door, and the half-door.
Now this one will show some of the new design features that we have. We're zooming in on the handle here, and then we'll go down to the locks, get a little bit closer view of the locks as well.
You can also see a better view of the beveled edges too. There's your lock. It's a very solid positive latching lock.
See the length, it's a nice long vertical handle. What we're going to show here is where the proximity switches are located. The contact part is in the grill itself, which you see right here. And then the magnet part is in the top and the bottom of the door. So when you field reverse your door, you'll have the magnet up top as well. All our doors will now come with stainless steel door liners instead of the ABS plastic.
So again, all spec units will now be standard with stainless steel door liners. ABS will remain on the value line.
This video is just showing the opening up of the front grille and the prop rod. And I think Mitch stated earlier that that front grille and even that bottom grille is easily removable. So if that
I think the key is if you look how close the coil is to the front of the unit. You prop it up, you can blow it out, vacuum it out, do whatever you can. So we made the unit come up as close to the front as we possibly can so the customer can clean that unit.
And that just shows how easy, easily push down, and you can see the positive. You push it in, it clicks in, and holds it in place.
You can also see the Victory logo on the left-hand side. Everything will show that's new will show that new Victory logo.
And this is just the condensing unit showing the new filter dryer. We have the evaporative base, which is good for energy efficiency. And we'll zoom up. We have the Armaflex now on the suction line. Shows our Copeland compressors here. And what that Armaflex does is makes it a lot easier for our service companies to go out and service that. We used to have the cork tape on there, which was a service nightmare. Opening up, we just wanted to show the EC fans inside the coil housing here.
I think the one thing you need to notice is how clean the top of the unit is. Very easy to work on, very easy to get to, very clean. So what we're going to talk to you about a little here is how to work the controllers, because everyone says, well, the new controller, how hard is it? How do I teach someone to do it? And Jim's going to kind of walk through some of these things and really show you how simple it is to create some of these features and benefits we're talking about. So go ahead, Jim.
Okay. If you look at the bottom of the screen there, you see it's a 6-button controller. The first button is an on-off button. Second is a defrost button. Third is a light. Fourth is a down. Then you have the up and the set button. So there's 6 buttons. It's simple control to use. Also with those 6 buttons, you can do a couple other things. You can lock the keyboard. You can go into a super cool mode, which we'll get into a little bit later. And also you can go into the HACCP features. You can see the list of any new HACCP alarms you have. There's a lot you can do with this simple control. And we have a video to highlight some of these features. Turn on and off the unit, you just hold the button down and your unit's turned off. It's pretty simple. Turn it back on, same procedure. change the set point, you hit the set button, and you hit either the up or down, depending on what you want to do. You hit set, and that changes your set point. So it's fairly simple to change your set point. This is a manual defrost. You hold it down for approximately 3 seconds, and you'll go into a manual defrost. This just shows that this is generally for glass doors, the light switch. So if you had a glass door unit, you can turn on and off the light from that from the control itself. So that's all the basic features of the control. Next slide. The super cool mode is a new feature that we've introduced on this control. And what it does is the set point will decrease by 10 degrees F on a refrigerator and 15 degrees F on a freezer. So that's good for, like, when you put new product in there. It may be room temperature or a little bit warmer, and you want it to cool down. You don't want the unit to cycle. You just want it to run constant. So you put your food in there, you hit the super cool button, and then it'll run for 1 hour at that new set point. You can also, if you want to, you can end it early if you want by just hitting that same button for a few seconds. It'll kick out of the super cool mode. There's also parameters that you can adjust the length of the super cool, which the user has access to. And this is a video showing how to start the super cool mode. You hit that button there for about 3 seconds. And it's hard to see, but there's an LED that'll go on in the screen there. It's like a little thermometer with a down arrow. You can sort of see it right there. So that indicates that you're in super cool mode. And then, like I said, if you wanted to kick out of the super cool mode before the 1 hour time frame, you can just hit that that up arrow button, and it'll kick out of that. So that kicks out of super cool mode right there. We also have HACCP ability on this new control. You can save up to 9 HACCP alarms. And then what happens after that is the most recent alarm will overwrite the oldest. What's unique about this is when you view these alarms, you'll get the critical temperature, the date and time when the alarm was triggered, and also the alarm duration, which is a good feature when you have like a one of the events that we can monitor is a power outage alarm. So what this will do is it'll tell you when the power was out. So when you come in and you see your display flashing with a PF alarm, and also you'll hear the beeping of the alarm. It'll also give you the when the alarm happened, the duration of the alarm, and the temperature that it got up to, which is kind of important for food safety. For instance, if you have a refrigerator that's been out of power for more than 24 hours, that's a good indication that your food has gone bad. And freezers are a little bit longer, and that depends on the load of food you have in there, and if you don't have any door openings, it can last a little bit longer. But so this is showing the power alarm feature. Now, to go into the HACCP menu, you hit the down button for a few seconds, and you want to go to LS, which stands for list. So that power failure is first on the list. To see what is involved in that, you hit the set button again. So it got up to 39 degrees on that power failure. It was in 2011, month 12, day 7, hour 11, minute 2. So that's when it happened. And this is the duration of that power outage alarm. So 0 hours and 6 minutes. Our power outage alarm will activate after 5 minutes. So if you have some nuisance trips, like if you're out for a minute, it won't show a power outage alarm. But anything over 5 minutes will show that alarm. one thing that's good with the power outage alarm is when you go in there, it requires you to actually physically touch the control screen to stop the beeper. So when you go in, it won't, if the power comes back on, it won't clear itself. The end user will have to go in and actually physically touch the control, and then it'll reset that power feature. So that's good. When you come in there and you see that beeping and you see it flashing, you have to physically interface with that controller to stop that. Another feature that we have on this is a manager's lockout feature. So say you wanted to, you don't want all your employees to go in and change set points or start defrosts or anything like that on you. You can lock them out. And then we have a slide on that. So what you do on this is you'll hit the on button and the down button for a few seconds, and it has to be held down simultaneously. And what you'll see is you'll see a lock display on the control. So that shows the lock. So if you go in and try to change set point here or initiate a defrost or anything like that, it'll have a lock display on the screen and shows that you can't change that. To unlock, you do the same thing. You hold the on button and the down button for a few seconds, and it has to be held simultaneously. And the display will show unlock for a few seconds. And there you go. And then that means you're unlocked, so everyone will have access to all features of the control. We've also introduced an energy saving mode. So what that does is, after 4 hours of door inactivity, so no one opens the door for 4 hours, the unit will go into an energy saving mode. The refrigerator's set point will increase 2 degrees Fahrenheit, and the freezer will increase 4 degrees Fahrenheit. And that's good for reducing energy consumption. And that's a parameter level feature that can be set by the end user. So if they don't want this energy saving mode, they don't have to have it, where they can turn it off. They can also change the increase in set point as well. We do have 2 levels of parameters on this new control. There's a user and a service level. And the user level, there's a great deal of functionality that they have. They can do a temperature probe offset. And what that is, we get service calls every now and then that says, you know, they have a thermometer that they put in the refrigerator, and it's 2 degrees off of what the display says. So they have the ability to calibrate that to make them match up. You can change between Fahrenheit and Celsius. You can do the super cool time limit. So right now it's set at 1 hour. They can change it to a half hour. They can change it to 2 hours. They can change it to whatever they would like. We have an overheated condenser limit. So we have a probe now on our condenser outlet, which monitors the temperature of the condenser. And when that temperature gets too warm, you'll get a condenser alarm, which will indicate that you should probably check your coil to make sure it's clean. So the user has the ability to change that setting a little bit. So if they wanted to increase or decrease that temperature, they can do so. The defrost interval, the end user has the ability to set that. So we are factory preset at 3 defrosts in a 24-hour period. If the end user wants 4 defrosts, they can change that as well. The end user also has the ability to set their defrost. Right now it's every 8 hours, but if they want to set it to a real time clock, so say they have a dinner rush, they don't want to have a defrost on, they can set a calendar time where you won't go into a defrost. The end user also has the ability to set the high and low temperature alarm set points. So that goes in conjunction with your HACCP alarms. So you can change the factory presets to whatever you want for your high and low temp HACCP alarm settings. There's an alarm delay for the high and low temperature alarms. So factory preset is like, I believe it's 10 minutes. So if they find that they want to change that to 15 minutes, they can do so. We also have a door alarm delay. Factory preset is 5 minutes. So if the door is open for 5 minutes, you'll get an alarm. They can change the time delay on that. So there's a lot more features. Door openings to start safety defrost, real-time clock for defrost intervals if wanted, evaporator fan activity. So there's a lot of features that the end user has the ability to change. We wanted to give them, some customizability to this control, not just send out a control and this is what you have. We wanted to give them the ability to change it to suit their particular needs. We also have an option now called the Flex Temp mode. And Mitch, did you want to talk about this, or do you want me to continue with this?
Yeah, really, on the Flex Temp mode, this is going to be an option that's available. And it really came from a lot of customers asking us, how do I change the temperature when I'm changing my product in my refrigerator? And really what it comes from is we have a customer now that has a seasonal menu. And what they do is that refrigerator may be a meat refrigerator, it may be a vegetable refrigerator, it may be a chicken refrigerator, depending on the season. And if you've all been to season 52, which is a Darden concept, you'll see that their menus change for the season. So they came to us and challenged us to come up with a controller that they can dial in anything that they want. And really, I'm not a chef, but we have some things up there that show you what temperatures some products should be held at. So meat, fish, and poultry at 28 to 32, dairy at 34 to 38, fruits and vegetables at 34 to 38, and cooked foods at 32 to 38. So really, that refrigerator can change if need be. This is a really neat thing for a chef if he has something for a hotel. He needs to change his menu. But that is, we're calling that a Flex Temp, and that'll be an option offered on this controller. Go ahead to the next slide. Go ahead, Jim.
Yeah, a couple other options that we offer is we have a USB data recorder, which will hook right into our electronic control. So say you wanted to record your temperature data, your high temp alarms, your low temp alarms. It can record this data for up to 1 year, and that'll record it every 15 minutes. So what you do is, if you have a health inspector come in and he wanted to see the records of your temperatures, you stick a USB into the USB recorder, take it out, put it to a laptop, and it'll have it on a spreadsheet so he can view the temperature data for that 1 year worth of data. We also have a RS-485 serial interface, which hooks right into the electronic control. And what that does is you have monitoring systems out there, and this gives you the ability to connect to that through a Modbus communications protocol. So say you have an installation where you're doing a prison or something like that, where there's 30 or 40 different units, and you wanted to monitor the temperatures, you wanted to control some set points, whatever, if you want to change them at night through a computer. This gives you the ability to hook up to a system that can do that. Some of the alarms that this control will have, you'll have a overheated condenser alarm, and what that'll be an indication of is to clean your condenser coil. That's the first level of condenser alarms we have. We also have a second level. If the condenser or the compressor gets too warm, where the compressor is in danger of failure, it'll shut off the system. It'll shut off the compressor before it can fail. We have a defrost time terminate alarm. And what that is we have a 60-minute backup on our defrost. So normal defrost should probably last 15, 20 minutes. We have a 60-minute time limit. And what this alarm will tell you is that you went off on a 60-minute time limit before it went off on the temperature. And that may indicate that your probe could be bad, or your heater may have gone bad. So that's just an indication that something should be checked on that. We have 3 probes now. We have a cabinet, evaporator, and condenser probe. And if one of those goes bad, the control will tell you which probe has gone bad. We'll have a real-time clock error. And what that is if you're without power for over 48 hours, and it may even be longer that we've had this tested up to, I think, 72 hours where it held its real-time clock, but 48 hours is a conservative estimate. But if you're unplugged for over 48 hours, you'll just have to reset your real-time clock, and it'll show when you plug it in, you'll have the RTC error, and that'll indicate that you have to go back and reset the real-time clock, which is a simple thing to do on this control. Next slide. And
there you go.
back to Mitch.
Yeah, thanks, Jim. We threw a lot at you, a ton of stuff at you, and I can't tell you what consultant is going to want the super cool mode, what consultant's going to want the energy saving mode, what consultant's going to want the flex temp mode. Some people are going to like some of these, some people aren't going to care about them, but we've given you so many things to throw up at the wall, something's got to stick. Things that we can specify in the marketplace on a job when it goes out to bid that Charleston cannot go after, that Turbo Air can't go after, that, oh, I won't say Beverage Air because that's our sister company, but other companies cannot go after. That was the goal of this, to create a controller that does things that no one else can, that we can specify with a consultant. That's our roots, the consultant market, and that's some of the things we want to go back to. Yes, we're going to work on the value line, but this is what brought us to the party, and this is where we want to be different. We're going to focus on the consultants hard. We're going to drive this home and be something different to someone else. So when we send out this smart but simple controller, someone may say, well, how do I train the person? This isn't a combi oven. We all know the combi ovens take forever to train. This is a 6-button unit that we will have a manual and spec sheets. We'll have an instructional training video. We'll put stuff on YouTube. Everybody uses YouTube now. You can click on it. It'll tell you how to go to super cool mode. It'll tell you what the energy savings mode is. Very, very simple things to do. We will also follow it up with an ad campaign, and that's something we're working on now. So cool stuff that we got to get to the field. You, ladies and gentlemen, are our first wave to the field. We need everyone to hit it hard with the consultants, the design dealers, the end users, the chains. There's a lot to look at there. Next slide, please. So some important dates to remember. I've said this before, and I'll say it again. Orders will start shipping in February. We'd be happy to take orders today for shipping in February. Spec sheets will be updated by February 1st. Website will be updated by February 1st. Auto quotes will be updated by February 1st. KCL takes a little longer. We give them the information. You gotta remember, there's only 2 people in KCL, so they're a little slower to input that stuff. So we're hoping that it gets updated by the first quarter. We'll have those training videos, and we're not sure exactly what they'll be. If it'll be a DVD, will be on the website, will be on YouTube, will be all of them? Yes. Lastly, the phasing out of Series 7. That will happen in February. We don't have an exact date, but again, we'll still have some parts we want to phase out. If I have a list of equipment, I'll send it out to you. But really, we want to start anew in February with a new line. Okay, next slide, please. Okay, so I think we're going to take your mute buttons off. Correct me if I'm wrong, Mr. Hike.
Yep, we're going to do that right now.
And we will take any questions, answers, discussion from anybody.
Barry? Barry's on mute.
Yes, ma'am. Where does this leave us with Energy Star?
Oh, go ahead, Jim. You want to answer that?
Yeah, currently, whatever's on Energy Star will still be Energy Star.
Great.
Starting in February, we're going to start testing new products, or not new products, but products that have not been Energy Star tested before. The time frame would probably be maybe once every month or 2 months we'll get a new product listed that's not already on there. And then we can do this ad hoc too. If there's a bid that you have that requires Energy Star for a particular model, we can push that into the front of the line.
Yeah, for those who don't know, Energy Star is becoming a extremely expensive third-party verification mess. And not only us, but you're going to see other people, because I've talked to other manufacturers, that they're going to be dropping a lot of their models too. We're going to look at the models that we sell a lot of on the spec line, and we'll make those Energy Star, but the money is getting astronomical to become a Energy Star certified unit. So what makes sense, we'll do it. What doesn't make sense, we won't do it. NAFM, just so you know, is actually having a discussion about putting some kind of NAFM Energy Star thing together, because everyone's in the same situation we are. It costs hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars, and we're not the retail sector and don't have that kind of volume in the food service business. So things will be changing there, and I think you'll see a lot of Energy Star stuff go to certain basic models.
And one thing with the Energy Star is the models that we do have listed, if you look on there and compare it to our competitors, you'll see that we're quite favorable when we compare it to them. For instance, if you look at the RS or RA1D, we're top in class. RA2D, we're top in class. So the models that we do have listed are generally best in class.
And the changes we're bringing to the new UltraSpec line in terms of the new gaskets we're going to be using and the new evaporator housing we're going to be using, and the new wires that are going to be inside the
fascia.
The fascias are all going to help us even improve and maintain the Energy Star ratings.
Next we have Peter Wilson.
Peter, can you hear us now?
Yes, I can. Good morning. First off, the new design looks great, so kudos to the guys on the team. Couple general questions. Dimensionally, are the cabinets the same to what we currently have?
Yeah, so if you needed to spec a job today, you won't have any, you'll have the same dimensions.
Excellent. Are there any items on the controller that are patentable?
You know, that's an interesting thing, and I'll let Richard, we've had that discussion about not only patents but terms. So Rich, I'll turn that to you.
Well, more than patentable on the controller, we're looking at registering the trademark on the few terms. So we're probably going to be registering the the UltraSpec brand, and also the V-Temp. So like Charleston has their IntelliTrol, we're going to have our V-Temp control, the Victory temperature control.
And one thing on this, like for instance, the power outage alarm. If you're competing against someone that's selling a Charleston, ask them to, you know, their power alarm will tell you that the power is out, which is fine. But we took it a step further. We'll tell you that the power is out, but also we'll tell you what the temperature got to. We'll also tell you how long it's been out. So we took it a step further than what Charleston currently offers. So that's a good selling point when you're competing against Charleston.
No question. And we still have some consultants that do specify laminate on exterior doors. How are you going to apply the laminate now on this new beveled edge?
We'll let George take that one.
We'll do it similar to someone that would be installing Formica on a simple countertop. We have two different methods. One would be with contact adhesive, and we would do it on the entire surface, including the 8-degree beveled edge, or we would use a two-sided VHB contact tape that would permanently affix the laminate to the surface.
Okay, and then lastly, where are we currently with regards to pricing of this? If we took our spec line now, to where would we be with the new UltraSpec?
Well, here's a $1 million question. I mean, we put a ton of time in this, a ton of money. We've upgraded everything, and really, we sat around the table and said, how much more can we get for this? And the answer is zip right now. This is a tough marketplace.
Right.
We need to be price competitive and give something that no one else has that's priced right. So as of now, the pricing is going to remain the same, exactly the same as the old unit.
Right. The answer is we want to give more value while holding the cost.
Yes.
Oh, that's great. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you for your questions. Who's next?
Yes. You mentioned the manual defrost. Are we on an electric defrost now with a controller versus the old time defrost?
We have an electric heating element. Is that what you're referring to? We have an electric heating element on the freezer.
Well, the manual is if you want to activate an extra defrost.
If you want to, yeah, what the manual does is if you want to activate an extra defrost.
That's in addition to.
Okay.
If for some reason in the course of your business day you've got a lot of activity and you see that for some reason you need to run an extra defrost cycle, you have that one-touch option to run that cycle anytime you desire.
Okay. Thank you.
And we also have some other unique features with the defrost. If the control senses that there's a lot of door openings in a particular amount of time, it'll automatically initiate a defrost for you. If the door is left open for a long amount of time, I think instead of like a half hour or something like that, it'll go into a defrost for you as well. So it has the 3 factory presets. It has the manual defrost, but it also has some safety backup defrost as well.
Great.
Next we have Dan Pino.
Oh, Dan, are you online?
Yes. Is it cap tube or expansion valve?
Currently, we offer the cap tube. The expansion valve right now is not.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Getting back to the last caller's question, as I was saying earlier with the V-Series, what was traditionally known as the value line going forward is going to be known as the V-Series. Victory, as you know, is not a value company in the sense of TurboWares of the world or the Chinese imports of the world. Victory is always going to be the high end of the economy sector. So the V-Series line that we are going to offer, just like the UltraSpec line in its sector, is going to have more features and benefits at as competitive a price as we can offer. So it is going to have a better look, it is going to have better performance, and it is going to have features that are going to make it possible for you to take it to the market and get a slight price premium over what the competitors have. Any other questions out there? All right, we've been on the call for about an hour now, and I want to express my sincere appreciation for the time that you've taken and dedicated to us today. This was a really important webinar for us, as is this UltraSpec launch. Any additional questions you have, please don't hesitate to contact the Victory team. You know how to reach Mitch, and you know how to reach Dennis, and any kind of technical support information you have, they can forward your questions on, or you can contact us directly. As we go forward, as I mentioned, Victory is going to be a product-driven company, and if you have new product ideas or new product opportunities that you would like us to take a look at, don't hesitate to bring them to our attention. Once again, thank you very much, and good luck with bringing UltraSpec to the market.